What do you think?
If you paid me to deadlift coach you, I would say that was shit. You want the fucking truth?
This is the first man in history to deadlift 500 kilos. His name is Eddie Hall. Now, this is probably the greatest strength feat of all time. It's actually probably up there with the 4-minute mile in terms of historic sporting moments, period. Now, my name is Nathaniel Messiah. Although it might not be as groundbreaking as Eddie's, I'm the 93 kilo junior world record holder in the deadlift in the IPF, which I set last year. Now, if there's one person I trust to ask about my deadlift, this will be Eddie Hall. So today, we're going to be doing exactly that to find out how Eddie Hall became the world record deadlift holder.
What's up, guys? We're Nathaniel Messiah, and today we have a couple of extremely special guests on the channel. We have none other than Mr. Eddie Hall himself on the channel, and the Gym Reaper.
I've got chalk on my hands, so
spot.
There you go.
He's gonna be doing something crazy on bench today, and then we're gonna be picking Eddie's brains about some deadlift secrets. Yeah, excited. Let's go.
I'll show you how to deadlift, bro.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. All right, quick one, guys. We've got a huge Young LA restock at 7 p.m. today. All right. So if you struggle to get some Young LA bits, this is your chance. Make sure you're on the website at 7 p.m. Make sure that you use code NATE to get yourself a discount on the website. Appreciate all the support. See you guys in a bit. My arms are so long, that's why my bench is just hard for me.
it's like a sumo bench.
Yeah, no, literally. I can't even take the piss out of people doing sumo because my bench is probably cheating more, I won't lie. I've never felt so small in my entire life. These guys are so enormous. I'm just gonna go over there and squat, man. I don't even want to stand over there right now.
Genuinely, when you bend down, the hem of the bar, it's crazy.
265.
Oh my god.
Yep. Yep.
Nice.
I thought he was gonna like struggle ever so slightly with this. Yeah, top form.
Come on. Nice. Very easy.
Good set, dude. Yep. Control it. Stop slowing down. It's not getting any slow.
Odds on working in.
Yes.
Odds on working in. I wouldn't even deadlift that today, mate. Control it. Ah! Come on!
He just immediately that is terrifying. That is fucking terrifying.
After finishing up my stiff leg deadlifts, it was time to ask Eddie what he thought of my deadlift form, as well as getting some deadlift tips for you guys. So if you're ready for this, then smash the like button and make sure to subscribe.
Also, guys, if you want anything from Young LA, make sure you use code NATE. The Yu-Gi-Oh drop went live recently. If there's anything left, make sure you grab it. If not, there'll be more sick drops coming. And yeah, appreciate you guys for all the support. Code NATE. All right, guys, I am with the world's strongest man. Do I say current or former deadlift world record holder? What are we doing?
Well, that's a massive debate.
That's a political question.
I personally would say current until someone does it in a competition.
In a competition.
It's current.
Okay, to be non-controversial, the first man in history to deadlift half a ton. That's unarguable.
An only man.
Only man. We're getting controversial with this, and I like it, I like it. So, what we're going to be doing today is, well, I'm somewhat of a world record holder myself. I'm the junior 93 kg deadlift world record holder. So, I compete in raw tested powerlifting. Eddie competed in strongman. So they have very different rules, different equipment, different setups. So we're going to be comparing the two. I'm going to be showing Eddie my form, getting his critique on it, and then Eddie's going to show me what he would do, and I can add my little 2 pence in there. So, you ready?
Are you going to show me your form?
We'll go for it, we'll go for it. All right.
Let's get it.
First of all, even on light weights, pretty much, I always use a belt.
Okay.
I've got like a little intercostal muscle injury that I've had since I was like 16. I was deadlifting without a belt one time, and then I kind of felt it go. And then for about 6 months, even like sometimes when I was breathing, I could feel it.
So you got a torn...
The muscles in my ribs, I think they're just weak.
Wow, okay.
So if I do anything beltless, it's not good.
Okay.
So, belt.
Belt on, fair enough.
This is my setup. So, approach the bar. I usually go feet about shoulder width. I've gained a little weight now, so the shoulder width is a little bit wider. And generally the bar over my mid-foot kind of area. Just so that when I go down, my shins then touch the bar. Versus if I started like this, then they're already kind of here. So that's kind of how I start. Mid-foot, come down. I do a mixed grip because, as I said, with raw powerlifting, it's you can't use straps. So mixed grip is the best, other than hook grip for keeping your grip. But hook grip is a bit more technical, and your thumbs are not gonna like you. Have you ever
I have tried. It's horrible. Yeah.
A lot of people they'll hook for their top sets, but then use straps for their back off. Because like a set of 8 hooks. Yeah. Over under, you want your hands as close to your legs as possible, like minimize the distance from your hands, because that's more of like a snatch grip. It just makes it harder. So hands here, and then when I start the deadlift, I like to drive my legs into the ground. I almost think of it as like 2 movements. This is like a push, and then from here, it's like a hinge. So drive my legs. What do you think?
I mean, Luke, if I were to like, if you paid me to deadlift coach you, I would say that was shit. You want the fucking truth?
What was bad about it?
I think the bar is too much over your toes.
Too much over my toes?
Yeah. Do you get any lower back pain at all?
Not from deadlifting.
No?
Not from deadlifting.
And then I would say your stance is actually quite narrow. You're restricting yourself.
But I'm not that wide in here. So you would go wider?
I would go wider, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
No, but this is good. This is good.
Your grip is too narrow. Like you say, I think because your stance is so narrow, your grip is too narrow. And you're right in what you say is the wider you have it, the shorter you're making
from
that
your
distance.
legs. From your legs.
Yes.
Like wherever your legs are, your hands should be right by them, not much further wider.
I agree.
Yeah.
100% agree. But if your stance is too narrow, then your hands are too narrow. And you're actually restricting yourself in from the knees upwards. Because if your hands are too narrow, all this meaty flesh, your lats and everything, is going to stop you getting that lockout power. Whereas you just a little bit wider, it gets rid of all that restriction.
When you go wide, see that's the thing, this is good because there's different approaches to it. When I set up, a lot of it is, so you have like where you feel strongest, and then you have like the optimal like leverages for the lift. So a lot of people feel about strongest when they're around here, but the bigger you get, generally, you need to go wider in order to accommodate for that.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like I need to be here yet, if you get what I mean. Because I still feel strong even here. I've moved it ever so slightly wider, but when I'm here, that feels about...
Would you say that's...
Right,
I would say you're about an inch either side short.
You feel an inch?
Of shoulder, yeah. I think you need to be an inch wider.
You would go an inch wider?
I would.
It's interesting. Let's swap to you showing me how you set up for deadlift.
Okay, so firstly, I would wear flat shoes, not Crocs. Okay, Vans or socks, grip socks is probably my preferred. So the closer you are to the ground, and also the more concrete you are to the floor, the more power you get out. So I find even in thin-soled shoes like that,
These are Avancas.
yeah, I think you're not as connected with the earth, and I think that's a big thing with deadlifting. You need to be as connected with the earth as you possibly can. So any deadlifts in a max deadlift especially, you'd see me in socks. So my stance, I always use those lines. My shin would be on those lines, and that is pretty much a little bit wider. So I'd say shoulder width. You got to think of that ball point in your shoulder plus an inch. That's what I always say. So when you say shoulder width, I always say shoulder width plus an inch. So that ball in your shoulder plus an inch, that's where you want to be. Now you had the bar over your toes almost, like if that's your toes and your knuckles there, you were just behind the knuckles of your toes.
I thought I was more here over the midfoot.
Yeah, okay, I'd agree with that. But would you say that's the middle of your foot? So you've got your heel and your toe. Yeah. Would you say it's in the middle of your foot?
Well, when I do it, I'm looking about from here. I'd say I usually like to have it about 2 inches from here, from like where my shins are. Because when I So this is different. Eddie, when he was lifting with strongman, you're in a suit. The suit almost makes it harder to get into position. When you have to roll yourself into position.
Yeah.
And you would roll the bar to you and then lift.
Yeah.
Whereas I compete in raw powerlifting. So when I come up to the bar, if I start with it touching my shins, then I can't sink my knees in. If I do, then it's gonna push the bar out in front of me. That's why I start with it here, because then when I initiate like this, then it's touching the bar. Because I think we're both agree
Are you
that
allowed to roll the bar in powerlifting?
you are, but I personally, I wouldn't roll the bar because there's variance there.
Yeah.
You could roll it not to where you want it, but I understand with yours, you guys kind of need to roll the bar in order to lock in that position with a suit on.
So my opinion is the toe and the heel of the foot, right? Yours is about here. Would you agree? A bit more that way?
No, like here, about
Here.
there.
So
Yeah.
you'd be there.
Yeah.
Right, so that's just behind the knuckles on your toes, yeah?
Yeah.
When you do a deficit on a deadlift,
Yeah.
right? So if you just picked a bar up and just lowered it down to the floor, where do you think that bar is landing? There or there?
Here.
There.
But mine is there when I start the lift. This is when,
So why do you have it here then?
so I can shift my legs into it rather than, so some people just start from
so
here.
you're saying
and
when you
lift.
start pulling, the bar moves
When
to
I,
here?
when I start pulling, it's the same place. It's at my
So
shin.
it's here?
As close as it can't go past there because your shin's in.
Because when I looked from the side, it looked as though you were pulling just behind the knuckles and your toes. You should pull a weight from the center of your foot, and you would definitely not the center of your foot.
Okay.
So in my opinion, and you're talking 0.1 of a decimal, this is going to make a difference, 0.1%. But when you get in the realms of 500 kilo, that 0.1% is 5 kilo, you know,
Yeah.
it's fucking a lot. I would always turn to the side. So I've got my width, I've got my feet planted. I'd always turn to the side, and the bar would be in the middle of my foot. So it wouldn't be over my toes or anything. It'd be toe to heel, it'd be bang in the fucking middle. Now, to you, that probably looks way too close, doesn't it?
For how I lift, it would
Yeah.
be, but we lift differently.
But when you lift, would you say that's where it comes from?
Yeah, when I make contact with the bar, that's
Yeah.
where it is.
Right, so that's where it needs to be. So, before we were using suits, this is how I deadlift. And I'd grip the bar a little bit wider than your legs, and there's a reason for that, I'll get to that. So the bar wouldn't move any direction, and all I'd do is drop my hips until the shins touch the bar. The second the shin touches the bar, I know that's the perfect spot.
Yeah,
and
I would agree with that.
And I mean, when the hairs on your fucking shin touch that bar, that's when you need to be exploding. From the sidelines, it didn't look like you were quite in the middle of your foot.
Shall I do it again? Shall I do it again?
Yeah.
Let me do it again. Because I might have not even just got my form right. Actually, I've gone a little wider here.
Okay? Okay, so that is not the middle of your foot. Agree?
Yes, but okay, yeah.
It's not, is it?
No, it's not your middle of your foot.
And then when you start pulling, it's actually further, look, it's right over the knuckles on your toes. Yeah?
Yeah.
So, and we're talking minimal amounts. You're obviously a great deadlifter, so I can't knock you 100%, but you could be better.
The reason why I don't go closer is because I'm quite like an explosive lifter. Everyone's like different kind of muscle fiber types, right? So some people go down and they start and they lift from here.
Yeah.
Whereas I start and then I shift my legs back
Yeah.
and then wedge in. But I feel like when I do that, when I come in and I slam in, it's still touching my shins.
Yeah, no.
And sometimes you get it wrong. Sometimes you get it wrong and you're too far away. I used to deadlift like that, but because of my like leverages, I would end up stiff legging it basically. Because if you see how long my arms are, right? If I go from here, this is basically a stiff leg deadlift.
Now that was a good form.
But that's not that.
That was fucking perfect form, because
Yeah.
that was in the middle of your foot.
But
So hang on, I want to make a point here.
yeah.
Right? Just 1 second. Come on.
Go on, I'll
Hear
do
me
it.
out. Hear
Yeah.
me out. So when that goes from the front of your foot
Yeah.
and you lift it, right, you're pulling it coming backwards. So it's not going in a perfect A to B motion, it's going slightly towards you. So if
Okay.
you want 100% efficiency, you should go A to B. It shouldn't go A, B,
But
C.
this is not where I feel the strongest. Here, my off the floor power is not there compared to here because I can't use my quads as much when I'm in that position.
Yeah.
But I do know what you're saying, and this is why it's good, because I like that Eddie didn't sugarcoat and told me what he thought. Because like a lot of people might look at me like, oh, like obviously got the junior world record, my deadlift must be perfect. But A, people are gonna have different opinions on what is perfect form and what isn't. And B, nobody's form is really perfect. So there's always room for improvement, and you can always take things from other people especially people who have been successful in what you're trying to do, and apply that to what you're doing.
Do you not think though, if you applied that wider stance and tried that middle of the foot motion, you could adapt to it, maybe get a little
Well, the
stronger
thing is,
and a little better?
What you're talking about, I used to deadlift. I'll put a video on the screen. I used to deadlift almost precisely like that,
Yeah.
wider and like in that position.
Yeah.
However, you'll see with my leverages, that was basically a stiff leg deadlift, and my off the floor power was not the same.
Okay.
So that's how I've kind of adapted my form, and how my coach has kind of adapted my form to my body type. If you see my arms, they essentially touch my knees when I'm standing down.
So,
if we reach out,
so you come quite a bit lower than me.
yeah,
It's quite rare.
reach out. with your
So
arm.
usually,
So you're quite a few
I've got
inches,
long arms, yeah.
yeah, taller than me, but our arms are
Your
similar.
arms are pretty much the same length.
Yeah.
So you're right, you've got very long
Yeah.
legs.
What would you say your best deadlift accessory exercise was?
Leg press,
Leg press.
by a mile.
Why would you say that?
Because it is essentially a leg press.
That's an interesting way of
You
thinking
think about it, you grip that bar,
Yeah,
and you are leg pressing the earth away from you.
yeah. No,
That's
I
what a
get that.
deadlift is, it's a leg press.
I train with actually a bit more emphasis on squats than I do on deadlifts. And that's because the squat carries over more to the deadlift than the deadlift carries over to the squat, if that makes
Yeah, I'd
sense.
agree with that.
And the deadlifts are really fatiguing. So we were saying about leg press transferring over to deadlifts. I feel a similar thing with like squats.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm a full power powerlifter, so we're doing SVD. I put like, it's more like 60-40 emphasis into squats, because I know that if I'm continuing to increase my squat, my deadlift's probably gonna increase as well,
Yeah.
versus the opposite isn't precisely the same.
I would say for me, of the squat motion, I'm not sure how it would fit in with your regime, but safety bar squats,
I like safety bar.
I found really helped the lower erector strength in your back.
Yeah, yeah. When I first started doing them, my back was sore for like days,
Yeah.
because it's like an ultra high bar, because high bar is like here, but then with a safety bar, because you have the cushion,
Yeah.
it's like here. And then I would find it hard just like keeping myself upright. That would be, at the beginning, I was doing, it humbled me so much.
Yeah.
I was doing such light weight, and just keeping myself upright was
And that's what a deadlift
difficult.
is. It's pulling that weight off the floor and keeping yourself
Yeah.
upright. So it's
That's
very
interesting,
similar.
you know.
I'll go over the hand position. Why I think a wider grip would help you, genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just try it rather than talk bollocks. Let's get some kind of measurement. Grab a steel bar. I want you to deadlift with your normal stance, normal grip. Hold it for me at the top. I want to measure something. Literally bang on that top line there. Okay, I just want you to do like 1.5 inches wider each side, and then hold it at the top for me. Okay, hold it at the top. Okay, that's actually higher. In my theory, if you measure me, this is what really helped me with the deadlift. I want you to measure that for me. Can you keep your finger on the point where that is? Like where it's touching
on
the
the
bar?
floor?
Where it's touching the bar.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna do a nice wide grip.
Yeah, I think it's,
Yeah?
yeah,
Quite a bit lower.
yeah.
My method is that slightly widen of the grip and the stance just takes away all this bulk, all the lats and everything, and just lets your arm actually dissipate a little bit, which it's only fractional, might be only an inch, but that's an inch less travel you have to do. And when
Yeah.
you get into the big weights, like top of the PB, that's a lot.
I think the main takeaway from today is just that there's multiple kind of ways to go about it, and like I 100% wouldn't say what Eddie's saying is wrong, but then at the same time you can watch my form, watch his, apply it to your particular deadlift, and then kind of see which one works better, because there's not a one size fits all approach. No matter who you are as well, make sure that you're teachable, because you can never get too good at something or never get to the point where you can't take improvement or can't take advice. I am actually experimenting going slightly wider, because I put in a couple of kilos, so my old shoulder width isn't my new shoulder width. And my deadlift last week, 700 pounds, felt slower than usual, and I was actually quite a bit closer.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like I kind of ran out of space when I got to here. This week, went heavier, but went slightly wider, and it felt better. So I think I will continue with the slightly wider. And then when it comes to like here, I know that I definitely used to start like here.
Yeah.
And then that's way, the knee angle isn't optimal. I've moved to like here, but if you're saying from here, you still think,
I think.
you
yeah.
think closer even still?
I think closer, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
The middle of your foot, remember, not toe to there, toe to heel, the middle of your foot. So you're perhaps a bit too close, like an inch.
So you think
Yeah.
there?
That's the middle of your foot. See, as you've gone down there and your shins have pushed it forward an inch.
That's what I mean. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, because
Yeah, but that's where you're going wrong. Don't push it forward. That means you're coming off that A to B line. So the second your shin touches, that's the position your body should lift from.
that did feel quite good, I won't lie. But that did feel actually quite good. Okay, I'll think about it. I will think about it. I actually
One
will
bit
think
of
about
advice, right? So when I started training, and I'll never forget this as long as I lived, it made me realise about adapting. And I was bench pressing, and I couldn't get past 4 plates aside. I was like an 18-year-old kid benching 4 plates aside. And this guy came over to me, he went, mate, you're benching way too narrow. And I was like, fuck off, you prick. Like, what the fuck do you know? And he went, no, trust me. Take your grip out another 2 inches. He said, you'll be shit at first, but within 2 months, you'll be stronger. I was like, fucking irritated, but I did it. And 2 months later, I was doing 220, just for that little adaptation. And it's just these little tweaks, and it might feel horrible at first, but honestly, I think you can improve there, 100%.
Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. And there's not many guys that you can categorically say, yeah, I should probably listen to them, other than Eddie Hall. All right, guys. Well, I just want to thank Eddie for having me down here today. Some really good fun with the other boys benching crazy weights. That was insane, honestly. I thought the whip would hurt them more than it did.
I think it did on the bigger weights.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
That was. Yeah, I don't even know how that was possible today. Appreciate that on the deadlifts as well. I've got to take what Eddie's saying and try and see if I can incorporate that in what I'm doing, and hopefully we can do something again